Welcome to my rainbow cake tutorial. Also could be used as a regular white cake if you don't want to color it. We're going to start out the recipe um, with with whipping the fat. And the fat that I'm using is the Mazola brand butter flavored tub margarine. And I'm going to weigh it as opposed to measuring it in a cup. I'm going to weigh out 8 ounces. And once I do that, I'm going to add 14 ounces of sugar. Again, I'm weighing it on the scale, which is much more accurate than using volume cups. I'm going to put the two together, and then I'm going to put on the paddle, and I'm going to whip the fat and sugar together until it's light and fluffy. Now it's at this point, while the fat and the sugar is being whipped together, that the flavoring should be added. Just add a teaspoon of vanilla extract and whip it up. And now I'm going to add 4 egg yolks. I'm going to reserve the whites. So I'm going to, as it's whipping, I'm going to add the yellows one at a time. Now, once that's whipped up, I'm going to combine the flour, baking powder, and salt. Make sure that you use a lower protein flour. Now we're going to whisk all the dry ingredients together, and then I'm going to very slowly, so it doesn't fly all over the kitchen, I'm going to very slowly add the dry mixture to the batter. And I do this before adding the liquid because the butter will help coat the flour to make it a softer and more tender cake. Now I'm going to add the liquid, which will activate the gluten even more. So I'm going to add that very slowly again so it doesn't fly all over the kitchen, and it will slowly get absorbed into the batter. So now we have our batter, and I'm going to now whip up those 4 egg whites that I had reserved when I put in the egg yolks, and I'm going to add the whip attachment to my mixer and make sure it's clean, and I'm going to whip up those egg whites until they're pretty stiff. It does not take long. You're going to see it starts out with little bubbles, and then you're going to see tracks in the whites from the beater, and at that point you're going to know that it's time. You can see that the whites are very stiff, and now I'm going to carefully fold in the whipped whites into the cake batter. This actually helps lighten the cake so that it's not such a heavy cake. It's actually a wonderful recipe, you'll see. So I'm going to carefully fold the whites into the batter. And then, because I'm going, at this point, if you're making a yellow cake, you could just put the batter into the pans. But since I'm making a cake with 6 different colors, I'm going to weigh it out. And then I'm going to divide it into 6 different bowls. I'm going to pour the batter into 6 different bowls because what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put food color in each of the bowls, each of my rainbow colors. And I'm going to mix it into each bowl before I put them into the baking pans. There you go. Now we're going to prepare our baking pans. I have a folded up piece of baking paper. It's folded into 4s, so I'm going to be actually cutting out 4 pieces at a time. I'm going to mark with a pen or pencil that circle. I'm going to fold it over once and fold it over twice. And then I'm going to take a scissor and I'm going to cut from the inside of that black line that we made with the pen or pencil. I'm going to cut out, and you're going to see I will have approximately 4 little circles. The first thing I'm going to do is to spray a little bit of Pam on the bottom of the pan so that the paper sticks and batter doesn't go underneath the paper. And then I'm just going to put the cooking spray all throughout the sides and the inside of the pan. And then I pour the batter into the prepared pans. And then before I put it in the oven, I'm going to wrap each pan onto the counter, bake it 350 for about 20 to 30 minutes or 180 Celsius. Enjoy the recipe.